Name?
My name is Bruce Metcalf. I'm the director of the Merced County Rescue Mission. At the Rescue Mission, we try to meet the needs of people who are homeless. We also meet the needs of people who are coming out of jail, people who have a multitude of issues and problems in their lives and want to just make a life change to try to get back on their feet.
And you take part in the survey every year, right, for the homeless population?
Yes, there's a point-in-time survey that is made each year to try to understand what our homeless population is. And from last year to this year, numbers demonstrate that there's a little bit of a decrease, but experience would show that the need is so great that we're just not about to be able to meet the needs of all the people who are homeless right now.
So explain, how do you go out and find these people? You go at a certain time? How does that work? How do you find these homeless people?
In the end of January each year, we have about 150 volunteers from all over the county that go out to assigned locations and look for people who are homeless. And then we interview them, we give them a hygiene kit, perhaps some socks and some things, and we ask them some questions so that we can really understand what the situations are, as we then are better able to try to meet the needs of the people.
Do some homeless people, some of them just don't want to talk to you?
Well, there are always people who would rather not talk, and if so, then we have to just try to do some guessing, and just assume that they're homeless. But most people are willing to talk.
And what do you see more of that from your experience? Do you see like more mental illness, more drugs, hard times? Can you give some insight of what you actually see?
Sure. Sometimes people are afraid of homeless people, or there's a lot of misunderstanding. But people who are homeless are just people like you and me. And they're no different except that they have had issues, they've had problems in their lives, and there are a whole variety of reasons why people find themselves homeless. It could be because of a broken relationship. It could be because they've lost a job. It could be because they have mental health issues. It could be because they have gotten into drugs. We find that probably 75 to 80% of the people who are on the streets are having problems with both mild or moderate mental illness as well as drug-related problems. And so it isn't so much that we can segment people into just having drug issues or just having mental health issues. It's usually both. And then because they're out exposed to the elements, oftentimes their bodies break down and they have a lot of physical problems as well. So there's a whole multitude of problems that homeless people face. And as we try to address their needs, we need to look at all of those things to try to really help them.
Is it true that different counties leave homeless people here?
Not really. As we have done the point-in-time survey to evaluate, and that's one of the questions that we have, 95% of people who are homeless in our county come from the county of Merced. And that's probably true for most counties. About 5% of people do come from perhaps surrounding counties that are close by, and then a very small number of people come from distances from maybe neighboring states or from cities like San Francisco or Los Angeles or from Reno, but that is really an extremely small number. As we're looking at the number of homeless people, we might be talking about 4 or 5 people that are coming from far away. Most of the people are coming from right here in the county. Homeless people tend to like to be in the county where they're from, where they know people, and where they're familiar with the services available.
Okay, so from your findings, you're saying you're saying that it's not particularly true, I guess.
No, it's not really true that people are all being sent to us from other places. That's that.
Do you think most homeless people actually like the lifestyle of being homeless?
I don't really believe that anyone who is on the street or homeless wants to be homeless. Now, we say, well, sometimes people are choosing that, but oftentimes they're choosing that because they have a freedom from rules and freedom from responsibility, from obligations. Sometimes people have been so overwhelmed by the rules, the obligations in their life, that they have perhaps had mental health issues or breakdowns, and they don't know what to do. They've lost jobs, so they've lost the ability to be in control. And when they're on the street, they really don't have to be in control of anything. They can just find their next meal or a place to sleep. But ultimately, I believe that every human being would like to have a comfortable place to sleep, know that they have 3 meals a day coming in, and just find security and safety. And so if that can be provided for them, and if people can have a place to live, I think they would choose that over being on the street. And what's more, when people are on the street, it costs society about $30,000 to $75,000 a year per homeless person to have them on the street. Those costs are realized in things like hospital stays, emergency room visits, ambulance transportation, police and fire department, emergency services. All of those things cost the taxpayers a lot of money. If we are able to get people into housing, into small apartments, it only costs us about $7,000 a year to provide for a homeless person's needs. So it's much less expensive for us to help meet the needs of a homeless person and provide them the security and the shelter that they desire. But a problem is oftentimes when we try to provide that for people, we attach a whole bunch of rules. You can't drink, you can't do drugs, you can't do this and you can't do that, you can't have your pets. Well, homeless people have pets because that's family for them. So we need to lower the barriers and make it possible for people to come in where harm is reduced to their own physical bodies and their emotions, and really address the needs they have without imposing a lot of rules on them.